My name is Jessica Rechtschaffer, and I am an armorer. That is, I build medieval and Renaissance armor that would have been worn by knights during the Middle Ages and Renaissance. I got into this through my academic background. I majored in medieval studies, and I concentrated on feudal culture, chivalric culture, that is the culture of the medieval knight. While working at the Higgins Armory Museum in Worcester, Massachusetts, I became keenly interested in how armorers applied their craft, because they didn't leave any instruction manuals behind, so this is really figuring out how to reclaim and recreate a lost craft. A lot of times people think, oh, medieval armor, it's kind of like the Tin Man, and it's all tubes that are connected together, and it's actually far more sophisticated, and it's filled with complex curves that are concave and complex and then convex, and they all come together in this really amazing way. The metalworking involved in armor was really quite exquisite, and is really the height of the metalworker's craft. And you go to the Met and you look at the armors that are on display, which are some of the best that were ever made, and it's really phenomenal how they were able to make complex curves out of steel which would fit the human body perfectly. So armor was extraordinarily expensive, and it's the equivalent of a high-end car like a Lamborghini or a Learjet. Only the 1% could afford armor. It was very similar to the role of a car today. The car has enormous cultural value, literary value. Songs are written about it, stories are written about it, but it's also a practical tool which gets you from here to there, and it's very similar with armor. To use a layman's expression, it's just cool, and that's why I really enjoy it. In terms of the production of building armor, I use historical techniques for the most part. Sometimes I cheat here and there. I strive to retain accuracy to the original pieces as best as I can. So I start off with a picture of the piece that I'm trying to essentially recreate, and then I go from there in terms of developing a pattern. The patterns start off like this, and these are actually parts for a knee. This is the knee part, which will eventually be shaped, and then this is a lane to basically fit with the knee. So this one needs some adjustment. This one is not necessarily made with this one, but it gives an idea of how I start off. From there, I transpose the patterns onto steel, and I cut out the steel, and then I begin shaping with different hammers over different surfaces, over anvils and stakes. And sometimes I will use heat if I have to get a certain complex curve to it. Other times I don't need to use heat, and I work the steel to get everything to fit together, because normally an arm harness, a leg harness, or the like is made out of more than one piece, sometimes many pieces. So I shape all the pieces so that they fit together and they work together perfectly, just like an exoskeleton. Once that is done, then I start the process of smoothing out the steel using what is referred to as a planishing hammer, which is a very shiny hammer to get the big scars from the initial roughing out of the steel to a much more smoother finish. I then take it to a polisher, and I start the process of polishing the armor using varying degrees of liquid sandpaper that has been painted onto felt wheels. And then from there, I take it to rope wheels, and then after that, I rivet it together and I apply the strapping. And also, if I don't have a rivet, which is right, and needs a decorative rivet, I have to make the decorative rivet or rivets. And other times, I also have to make strapping and buckles, and I don't want to slap a commercial buckle on something, so I'll make my own buckle and fabricate a strap out of leather. Then I attach that until I have a complete piece, and then it's good to go. This is a labor of love. Everything takes a very, very long time, and a lot of patience is needed, but it really makes one appreciate the human form and all of the contours that come in, and that shapes us. We are composed of complex curves, and it's really fun to emulate that. It's also the height of metalworking technique, and there's a reason why it's in the Met, and that's because it is art and one to be studied and admired. It's not. This is still in stages of completion.